Um, on the last video, I talked about Donald Trump letting people out from prison and the effect that our society has, like for minorities, when we are condemning um, our brothers and our sisters um, to prison, and yet um, you see Donald Trump letting his folks out, and you see Biden letting his folks out. And we're not just going to limit this to the political prisoners, right? Donald Trump literally released Ross Ulbricht, which is the founder of Silk Road. Now, anybody that knows anything about selling drugs, or anything about bitcoins and stuff like that, you know what I'm talking about. You know what Silk Road was. And the point that I made earlier drives even stronger when you see that, a convicted drug dealer like Ross Ulbricht will be able to be released from a pardon from Donald Trump on day one. Um, but you won't see any African Americans getting released. You won't see any. Um, so that's the kind of the point that I want to make. I just want to make that point. I don't really care about other people's stances on this. I don't have a stance as far as when it comes to what other people, because I know that y'all are hypocrites. I know that most people are hypocrites. Most people are going to say, they don't like no snitches, they don't like no rats, but y'all the main ones that pick up the phone when nobody's around, and you dropping dimes on people. Or y'all the main ones that is you the main ones that's using the cops as your security. Like the two witnesses on my former case. Or you the main ones that you're our biggest obstacle in minorities to gain any type of traction when it comes to freedom monetarily and stuff like that. Blacks don't have the opportunity to get pardons, or money doesn't save us, as in R. Kelly, Cosby, Diddy. So, like I said about, if Biden gets his folks free, and if Donald Trump gets his folks free, who gets us free? And not only that, right? We're going to talk about society with social media, the the over posting of privacy, the overstepping of privacy, and just how people have decided to give up their privacy for like voluntarily, for a dopamine effect, like a like, or something like that. Like, you didn't like my post, that's a dopamine hit. Um, so you have too much online stuff going on where you got people either flexing money, flexing uh, expensive dinners, vacations, stuff like that, right? And don't get it wrong, I took pictures of vacations and stuff when I was on Instagram and Facebook. I used to take pictures with a lot of money when I was on Facebook and Instagram. Um, a loved one begged me to take my pictures down. He begged me. He told me, he was like, you do know that people will be jealous of you. I didn't quite grasp that because you do have this false sense of security when you when you've won so much, right? When you won so much, when you have this track record of winning, you do have a false sense of security. You're like, well, if if I have to, face a threat or something like that, I'm going to win like I normally win, right? But what happens is when you don't win, you know what I'm saying? Like what happens when you don't win? And it was like not it wasn't a thing for me. It just wasn't even an idea. I just was like, it's not an idea for me. And for pictures, it wasn't worth it. Now it'd be one thing if I'm on vacation, you know what I'm saying, and nobody's gonna stop me from going on vacation. Nobody's gonna stop me from, but posting the pictures itself is not worth it, and it attracts attention that you don't really want. Like you already have to deal with jealousy. You already have to deal with hate in this world. You already have to deal with jealousy on a level that most people will not be able to understand. I have jealousy of people just looking at me, just looking at me. There's men that get jealous of me. So imagine having money with it or status with it. The jealousy is out the roof, is out the window. So it's not worth posting the pictures now. For me, it was like that for me. You know what I'm saying? And for the people that have let the cameras in their house, like put the cameras in their house, and they have it set up to a server for outside your house, like an outside company or outside server. This is suicide to me. If you don't believe me, maybe you should start looking at the people who got themselves locked up. Now it's not about people doing illegal stuff because with AI now, the way AI is so good now, I would be very cautious on, a lot of the stuff that I will post online. Especially if you're doing multiple things, like going out and stuff like that. Because AI is real good. It's real good now. And the way the police operate is that if they target you, they're going to try to take you out as best as possible. We are talking about a force now that are almost solely criminals, and they don't mind everybody knowing that they are criminals. And this is why Donald Trump did what he did, because he sees the criminal justice system as what it is. It's a criminal system. It's full of criminals. And he's looking at it like, I'm not going to let my folks be persecuted unjustly in a criminal system. Makes sense. Well, why would we do it? Okay. So you want to post online, that's cool. What about the stuff that we see nowadays with like Fat Joe, right? So you got these finger gangsters and typing gangsters, right? They they have never stood up for anything. They're not activists at all. I'm an activist now. I never wanted to be an activist, but I'm an activist now. You know what I'm saying? I think it was normal for me to stand up for the oppressed. Like I said in one of my last videos, I'm Muslim, and Muslims stand up for the people that's oppressed. So I never wanted to be like this. This is I feel like I might be oppressive, like fighter. You mean I feel like at this point now I might be almost on the level of a real like activist or some Dr. Martin Luther King stuff and stuff like that. Um, Especially considering like what I'm going up against and the type of fight I'm fighting against. Um, but you know, I have been in the field. I have put my freedom, my health, and my blood, sweat, and all that other stuff. I put that on the line. But we see people that, want to cuss out, Snoop or cuss out Fat Joe for saying something that they felt was racist. Maybe it was racist. Maybe he came from a place that was very, that was very racist. Maybe he did come from a place like that. I don't know. Personally, I don't really care because one of the reasons why I don't care is that most of the people that's saying something or that has a problem with it has never stood for anything. As a matter of fact, you've probably destroyed more lives than you will ever save. You've only jumped on a bandwagon to hate on him because you have a bit, because there is a bandwagon. There is people pulling the cart. And you never stood for nothing. You never fought for nothing. You never stood for nothing. But yet, here we are. You tailgating. And then you tailgating on a person like Fat Joe. Where are you at with Donald Trump? You outside with it? When you seeing those cops shooting your brother to death online, you marching with them? You signing petitions? What you've done in your life? Have you signed petitions? You know what they look like? You know how many petitions I've signed? What have you done? So we're going to go against Fat Joe, who for guaranteed, no matter what you think about him and his comment, I can guarantee you if Fat Joe was to see an African American oppressed in front of his face, he would not let that go down. He would not let that go down in front of his face. So what have you done since this is what we on? You canceling people? You have the power to cancel people. You do. You had the power to cancel people? The keyboard gangsters? The people behind those keyboards that won't show your face. You just got a name up there. You don't show your face. You either using a throwaway account. You hyping the joint up. You might even be a bigot yourself. You might even not even be African American or minority. You might just be a flat out bigot yourself. And you hyping other people up. And you stirring the pot. What have you done? See, I have a right to call this out. I call this out. Why? Because look at what I'm standing on. You can't even pull my card. What you gonna pull? What you gonna pull? There's a big middle finger with whatever you pull. Because I'm standing on this. You not standing on nothing because you behind the keyboard doing everything. You on social media posting things, stuff like that. But you're not in the field. You're not in the field. You're not putting in no work. You're not doing the paperwork, or you're not doing the marching. You're not doing the fighting back. You're not doing the getting hit with the tear gas. You're not doing none of that. Now, I gave a story about how when I was locked up, that this guy had touched the CO's behind her butt and all that, and they wanted to roll on him for it. And he was just so not a threat. He was just so high. And I stood in the way. And while they sprayed around me to get me out the way, but before I went over there to try to hold them off because I knew they was going to do them dirty. And I seen multiple people get done dirty in my face. I couldn't let it happen. I just couldn't let it happen. And I reacted. But I watch people try to grab me. I watch them inmates. These are supposed to be gangsters. Now I don't blame them because I understand what they were trying. They were trying to save me. I understand that. I'm not even really tripping about that. They was trying to save me and I respect that. But I watched them try to grab me. And just my point is that that's a normal reaction for people. Some people, I believe there's going to be some people that wanted to see him get hurt. And this is what we see in our communities. You have this cancel culture where it's cool if you, oh, yeah, roll on him, beat him up, shoot him, stab him, kill him. That's cool. Let's do that to him. All right, what did he do to you? Nothing. All right, he done nothing to you. But yet you got all this animosity towards him. And he looked like you. Where that hate come from? Where that jealousy come from? Where that envy come from? I'll leave y'all with that. I'll leave you with that. I'll leave you with that. Because that's something that you're going to have to look inside yourself and find where that came from. While you up there posting all this stuff and looking at our communities that's already brought down enough. Already brought down enough. And you got all that hatred towards somebody you don't know and has done nothing to you. I'm gone.